Hello and welcome to Show Up, Stand Out Online Visibility Expert Series for Entrepreneurs. My name is Juliet Stapleton and I am Visibility Strategist. And today my guest is Julia Bramble. Hi, Julia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Guys, Julie is a Facebook ads expert, but she is not only that, she is also a speaker and a trainer and a mentor and a regular contributor to Social Media Examiner blog, which I absolutely love, by the way. So I'm delighted. I must have read some of your articles before. I just didn't put two and two together. I only now realized that. I'm a big fan. Julia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll start. I know you have a little story to tell how you got where you are now, so I would love to hear that, and our viewers as well. Hi, Jane. Jane is joining us.
Oh, hi, Jane. I'm actually a scientist by training, so I've got a PhD in ology, and for years I worked actually in forensic science, which sounds like a world away from social media and Facebook ads and online marketing. But what I was doing there was I was taking, if you like, the shiny new science and technology and turning it into something that could be used every day, in a simple way to give the kind of results that could be predicted, and using it in a way that could be easily understood and explained in a court of law. So actually what I do now is not that dissimilar. It's taking all the kind of new stuff that's coming on board and turning it into something that your average business owner can access and use to actually grow their business and can, again, start to predict the results from. But I actually got into all of this because the forensic science service that I worked with was an agency of the government. They didn't really know how to deal with their customers, so they got caught out by all these smaller businesses coming on board. Long story short, they had to restructure. I wanted to do something that worked around the family, so I was looking for a franchise to run because I thought I want something that's already established. I've never run a business in my life, so I ended up on a lot of lists. And because I was on a lot of email lists, I was getting a lot of emails through about small businesses and marketing. And that was something I'd always been interested in. But about the same time, and this was like 8 years ago now, about the same time, my eldest daughter was like 12 and she was starting to go like, Mom, I want to go on Facebook. So I hadn't had a chance to breathe until then. I had 6 kids, like 12 and under at that stage. I was just like, oh my God. So all of a sudden, this world of social media was opened up to me and I just fell in love with it completely. And combined with what I could see going on in the business world from these lists I've been on, how important marketing was, how it was moving online, the whole thing just kind of coincided. And there I was. That was me.
And how did it all turn out into Facebook ads particularly?
Well, I started off helping businesses with their social media, and a lot of that initially was around just helping people to understand how to use these flipping platforms because it was all really new to people back then, and then moved from there to thinking about how they could use them more strategically to actually give them a return. And from there, that kind of that fired off a lot of questions in my head, thinking about, well, how can I actually show that my clients are getting a return for the money or the effort that they're putting in? And actually with social media per se, it's quite difficult. It can be a bit fluffy unless you've got some really well-defined parameters or you're sending anyone to a website and you're measuring clicks, that kind of stuff. Whereas Facebook ads really appealed to me because you could see what was happening every step of the way and you can measure everything. I mean, the amount of data you can get back is probably too much. It can be really overwhelming, but you can absolutely see that return on your investment. And that's something that I've always been interested in. So I guess I felt naturally more comfortable there where I could show my clients this real return than sitting purely in the social media camp. Plus, as we know now, to actually be visible on social media, unless you're being really strategic and doing the stuff that you talk about, people can find themselves just like creating content and posting just like constantly. They give their lives to it and they can't run their businesses anymore. Whereas if you're running Facebook ads, they can actually get your name out to the right people for you 24/7, of course, without you having to constantly be there posting content. So I could see that kind of imbalance happening as well. So that was really what moved me towards them. Plus, of course, people were asking, Facebook ads became all the rage and people wanted to know how to use them.
This is actually interesting what you said about the measuring your social media success, because a lot of people and a lot of business people, entrepreneurs, we're talking about even people creating content for themselves and building personal brand. That's my sort of target audience. But a lot of them are spending time, they're sharing blog posts, they're posting something, and there's nothing coming back. And they start getting worried about, oh, I'm not getting much engagement, or I'm not getting this and that. But actually, and I always say, well, this is not the stats that you need to focus on. You really need to focus on your bank account. And the reason why the bank account is not working is because you probably didn't think who you really need to talk to. What are you going to say to them? How are you going to bring them into your where they process their payment actually. And usually I get a blank face and I'm like, I didn't think about it. Well, then of course you're wasting your time, because you're literally standing on the corner with the loudspeaker and saying something, and everybody's just passing by saying, this is a crazy person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And maybe just when people are actually paying for the ads, maybe it kind of nudges them further down, actually having to get that process sorted out. So
sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So if you're watching this and you don't have your ideal client and all that figured out, your message, your Facebook ads will also waste your money. So it's going to be a pinch. It's not just the time, although the time is an important investment as well.
Yeah.
So let's just talk maybe about this. We started kind of talking about the misconceptions here, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, we have.
In your opinion, and working with people who are small business owners, what are other misconceptions maybe that you've encountered, and you guys listen to it, because awareness that you're maybe in the wrong direction or going into the wrong direction, that's the first place to start changing.
Yeah, that's very true. I think the biggest thing I see out there when people say, oh, I tried Facebook ads and they didn't work for me, is so many businesses go out there and they still see Facebook ads as having some sort of magic and being able to change human psychology. So they think that if they share something using a Facebook ad, that people are just going to drop everything and rush and buy it because it's been shared on a Facebook ad. But we know, like you've just been saying, we know that you can go out there and you can share an offer to people. Say you had a room full of people who could be your potential clients. You would stand there at a corner with a loudspeaker, just as you're saying, and you would share the offer with them, right? They're not all going to come rushing forwards and buy from you, are they? No, because they've never met you before in your life. And yet people think that because they're doing this with a Facebook ad, somehow the Facebook ad has got magical qualities and you're going to be able to sell your stuff. You're not. You're still going to go through the same steps of letting people discover who you are and connect with you and know that they know, like, and trust you before they're going to take that action with you. And that comes from buying, but it also comes from it comes into play if you're wanting people to download something, to give you their email address and download something. It can even come into play if you want people to click across to your website. They're far more likely to do it when they have already come across you and they know, like, and trust you a little bit. So that is the biggest misconception, and I think the biggest area where people need to wise up in terms of their Facebook ads.
That's so true. In my opinion, and this is something I always say to my clients that I coach, if you are doing something, think about, would you want to see that? Would you want to be treated like that? Would you want to would you want to follow a page that maybe advertises, but those ads are boring as hell and, they just don't entice you to click on them. So you have to step away from your own head and take yourself out of the business and actually look at, especially on social media, just too many people are hiding behind real mediocre content, and they don't understand that people work with people.
Absolutely,
I think it's an amazing, like when you go to let's say when you go to the restaurant, your favorite restaurant, you go to your favorite shop, do you actually go there for the walls and the interior? No, you go there for people who work there because they look after you so well, because you can have a chat, because, or maybe they don't impose themselves on you as well. It depends on what you're looking for, but it's actually the people who create the atmosphere, right? So it's the same online, isn't it?
Yeah, it is absolutely. And I think we're starting, I think, just to see this play out with the big brands. I think that's where, as small businesses, we can really steal a march on some of the bigger organizations that have maybe got to put all their content through compliance and all that sort of stuff before they can even respond to anything. Whereas we, as small businesses and brands, we can be agile, we can be out there, we can be behaving as humans. And it's much more simple for us to do that than the big businesses. And we should, I think, be taking advantage of that massively before all the big businesses suddenly realize, duh, people buy from people and we should have been doing this a long time ago. You know, let's use that to our advantage definitely while we can. And people they respond to like little mishaps and things that maybe you share out there on social media. They respond to stories. As we know, they respond to maybe like little details about your life because we're all naturally curious. And you can include all that kind of stuff within a Facebook ad. You know, just because it's an ad doesn't mean to say you can't kind of contain within it the same sort of stuff you would have, say, in a Facebook personal profile update. Of course you can.
That's right. That's right. Actually, one of the clients that in my digital marketing agency, one of the clients is a small takeaway in a pizzeria on the beach. And you know, when we're posting any sort of like pictures of the food or any kind of stock shots or anything, any even food promos, what's like special offers, there's not really that much response. But we had a snow. We were snowed in here a couple of weeks ago with this bad weather in Ireland, guys. If you're not from Ireland, this never happens. It doesn't snow here. Yeah. So. And the owner of the takeaway got undressed up to his underwear and went and rolled in the snow. He said he's doing it in Russian style and posted that on Facebook. And we had thousands of people reacting to that. And we did put an ad behind that to reach more people. But you have no idea how much more PR this one thing did for us than all these posting, you know, boring stuff. Yes, people want to know about your special offers, but you know what? Not so much. Not as much as you think.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, people will think, oh, you know, restaurant, you know, how on earth could we share something from a restaurant that could be human? But, you know, you've just hit it on the head. So it might be the owner doing something bonkers like that. Or it might be, you know, the chef who's got their extra special recipe or whatever, and they let you into the secret behind the recipe. Any of those things could be shared with, you know, by using a Facebook ad to actually get it out to a wider audience than maybe you are otherwise reaching. As long as you then know what you're going to do with all that buzz, as you said, that you've generated, as long as you can then channel that somewhere. And of course, Facebook ads allow you to not only create that buzz in the first place, but they then allow you to go back and retarget people who have responded to your content. And this is where the magic really happens with Facebook ads. And going back to that misconceptions thing, I think this is not necessarily a misconception, but this is a missed piece. So many people don't realize that you can actually go back and talk to people who've already shown an interest in your stuff or who have engaged with it in some way.
That's so true. I'll have to bring you a little bit into a serious end of things because we have a question from Jane. And Jane is asking, what are your thoughts on in about 2 years when big companies go all on Facebook ads because the brands don't reach people as much, you know, Facebook Zero and all that stuff. And the cost will rise for smaller companies to do ads on Facebook. Do you think that this is the way it's heading?
I think we're already seeing it, to be honest with you. Since Facebook Zero hit, we have seen lots more people jumping on Facebook ads. But the good news is that lots of small businesses still don't know how to use them with human type content that we've just been talking about. So if you like, to reserve your place at the front of the queue when it really does get massively busy and the costs rise, then knowing who it is that you want to interact and attract, who that person is that you want to connect with, and knowing what kind of content is going to float their boat is really, really going to help you. And as someone who is focusing on building your personal brand, actually you stand a great advantage there because you know the kind of people that you are already interacting with. You can go up there, you can ask them questions, you can use Facebook ads to ask them questions. So I think you want to always be looking to honing your content and thinking, as we've just discussed, about how everything appears to your ideal client, how everything appears to the audience that you want to interact with. And then you can still stay ahead of that wave. Yes, I believe it is coming, and yes, I believe it's not going to be as cost effective as it was to run Facebook ads, but you will still be at an advantage if you keep them very human. And the big brands are never going to be able to emulate that compared to a personal brand, because they've got like a brand and they're made up with like thousands of people. So they might have someone like figureheading their brand, or they might have some cutesy character or something, but it's never going to be the same as one individual person having the power of that personal brand that you can change. You know, you can start to morph overnight if you like. You can share your opinion on something. You know, big brands, they can never share their opinion on anything because their compliance department will come down on them like a ton of bricks. So you've always got that advantage. So don't be too worried, but use it as a nudge, if you like, to yourself to start making the most of it now.
That's right. So basically, go back to basics. Yes, go back to basics. The more you understand who you're talking to, the more you understand who your ideal client, or who the most favorite client that you want to work with. Because look, if you're a small business, you actually don't have to have as many clients as the big corporation, right? Yeah. You're not competing with them at the same level at all. You need an audience, and in that audience, there are individuals who will connect to you because they will love you for who you are. You know, so you just need to be yourself, really, but brave, you know, like fearless. Come out and show up. Show up, but do it strategically. Think about who you're talking to, because you know that you can. It also can be like an ego exercise to just go and do a lot of lives and everything. But if you don't do something strategically, this is a waste of time. Your bank account will speak for itself.
Yeah, that is very true. It's about joining up the dots at the end of the day, isn't it? Whether you're doing it organically or whether you're doing it with ads, you still need to have your call to action. You still need to be taking people somewhere. You still need to be able to give them the next step, if you like, in the process of moving towards working with you, even if they're not ready yet, and then carrying on talking to them as well.
That's so true. So in a way, when somebody who hasn't advertised before right now, what would you say the best mindset and expectations to have when you start advertising, so it doesn't, you know, especially if you don't have experience, what would you need to, you know, keep in mind when you're starting?
Well, all those things that we've just talked about, obviously. And then the simplest way to start is maybe by creating a post already that you want to share to a wider audience, or picking a post that's already gone on your page and got some organic response. That's a great way to start. Then what you can do is you can go into Facebook's Ads Manager, and you can actually use that post, but still run, if you like, a proper ad to it, rather than just go and hit that boost post button, which is kind of a cookie cutter way of running ads. And Facebook have actually said you're never going to get as good results with boost posts as you do with ads run through the Ads Manager. So go and find a post that's maybe already got some traction and some response, but select that in your Ads Manager and use that to run an ad to. And that way, what you can do is you can actually find out how all the mechanism works and fits together, and you can explore the different targeting options without having to worry about what your ad is actually going to look like, because you've already created that. That's your post. So you can separate those two bits out. I think otherwise people just find this whole thing really overwhelming. So if you've already covered that side, then you're just looking at the more technical side. So then all you've got to think about really is, well, how long do you want the ad to run for? Always set an end date, because otherwise Facebook will just carry on taking your money. What kind of budget you want to use. And if, say, for your first ad that you want to put out there, you might just want to say, okay, what I want to do is to have people see this post and respond to it. That would be quite a nice thing, just to dip your toe in the water. In which case, when you first go to set up your ad, you'll get asked to choose what your objective is. And your objective simply means that Facebook wants to help you get the right results by choosing the people who are more likely to take that particular action than other people within the audience you select. So by choosing the objective, Facebook is helping you get the right results. So in our case, we would choose the engagement objective because we want people to respond. The next page you get taken to is where you choose the audience that you would like your ad to be shown to. So you could choose some simple filtering options, or you could just say, I would like people who already like my page to see this post, just to see how everything fits together. And then budget, you could choose a budget of, say, £10 or $10 or €10 or whatever you think you want to do, and just say, run your ad for 5 days, come back, have a look at it, see what the table of results looks like, and just kind of familiarize yourself with all the bits and pieces, because for most people, it's like all those little details that are actually holding them back from running an ad. And once they've been through it a couple of times, I think start to feel where everything is, and then can be a bit braver and start thinking about, well, maybe I want to try this objective and I want to test a couple of things and whatever it is. Just get used to the thing in the first place. It's not built terribly intuitively, unfortunately. You know, it is a bit clunky for most of us. It wasn't built like a nice whizzy website out there. It's a bit clunky, but that's Facebook's fault. You know, that's not a failing of yours if you don't find it easy to use. It's actually the way Facebook has set it up. So yeah, just get used to it with a low budget and have a play.
If just one question I have that, you know, when you're running Facebook ads, and if you haven't run Facebook ads, guys, and if you don't know, there is always a period of adjustment. So the ad will run, but Facebook is an extremely intelligent device. So it has so much information. That's why where Julia was saying about, you know, objectives, Facebook knows, let's say Facebook knows I comment a lot. Facebook knows I watch videos. So obviously I am shown video views, the ads with video views, objectives, or, you know, reactions or comments. So if you are likely to message a page, you know, you will be shown those kind of ads as well. So that's how it's very important to think about, you know, what kind of people, even your ideal client, is your ideal client likely to comment on your post? Is your ideal client likely to send you a message? You know, so, because a lot of people are lurkers on Facebook as well. You need to kind of just analyze that. But there has to be a period of time where Facebook figures it out. It doesn't work like you can't just boost something or put an ad for one day, and then there's no results or no leads, and you're sort of giving up. So, Julia, what is, in your opinion, is an optimal testing period in your experience?
Well, it does depend on the budget that you're giving Facebook to play with, because I see this as well. I say someone paying Facebook £2 or something, running an ad for a couple of days and saying, oh, I didn't get any results. And it's kind of like, well, of course you didn't. A, you haven't given Facebook long enough, but B, you haven't actually given Facebook enough money to actually generate enough results for it to know what it's doing. So I would say generally, if you're going to give Facebook a budget of £10 or £20, say, and let it run for 5 days, say, after 3 days, you could go in and probably get a pretty good idea of what's going on. But if the results that you're actually asking it to get for you are quite expensive for it to get, say you've targeted an audience that really isn't interested in what you're offering for some reason, then you might find that still there aren't enough results there to really see anything. So you just have to use, I guess, a little bit of common sense and say, well, if you've only got 2 clicks or something, it's not really telling you anything here, apart from the fact that you probably haven't just reached the right audience. So the best thing you can possibly do, having got to grips with the ads manager, like we just said, is create an ad, and actually having created that ad, run it to one audience, but then run that same ad to 2 or 3 different audiences that you think might be the best ones for you, and actually see how they compare. Do that on a low budget for, say, 5 days, and then you will probably find that one audience seems to respond the best to that ad. And then you can actually carry on running that ad. You can increase the budget on that very slowly, and you can stop the other audience ads from running. And that way you know that you've actually found an audience that like what it is that you're saying. And you wouldn't believe the amount of money that can actually save you simply by putting in a little testing step like that.
That was a brilliant advice. So now we know what to do, guys. You know what to do. When you said £20, did you mean a total £20 for 5 days, or a daily £20 budget?
It really depends on what you're trying to achieve, but you can probably get, if you're going for something like engagement or website clicks or video views or reach, you can probably, with most audiences, get some decent results with £20 over the 5 days. But if it is an audience that's got lots and lots and lots of people competing to show ads to that particular group of people, then you find that you do have to pay more to get those same results. So it does depend on the audience that you want to go out to. And, you know, if it is a highly competitive audience like small business owners, you might find that you have to pay a bit more to get those results, which again is why if you go out there with a small budget and just have a little play and test around what different audiences do, you'll start to get a feel really quickly for actually what's working for you and the kinds of people that you want to reach.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, okay. So if somebody wants to follow you, I know that you do some training, and maybe you can just tell them where can they find you and find
Oh
out
yes,
more.
I'm on Facebook, obviously, and I've got, my Facebook page is called Julia at Bramble Buzz Social Media, I think. I'm on Twitter as at Julia Bramble, and the same on Instagram, and the same on LinkedIn, and my website is in need of an update, but you can go over there and visit it if you want to. But I have got a free guide to using Facebook ads in the simplest way possible, which I can give you the link for. I can put it in the comments or something if that would help people.
That's brilliant. And guys, if you're part of Fearless Client Attraction Academy, Julia actually has an introductory training there as well. So if you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. It's there available right now. Or go and connect to Julia and get that free guide. Julia, thank you so much. I thought it was a brilliant, so much brilliant advice, guys. I definitely think that it would set you on the right track with Facebook ads. And thing is that test. Don't give up too early.
Absolutely. And don't get overwhelmed. Just take like the simplest, easiest route that you can find and get used to it gradually.
Brilliant. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks, Julia, for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.